Sports, when you've got a great ball club. Sports, when you're leaving it all on the field. Sports, when you like your team's chances. Sports, to survive and advance in sports. For the teams you love and the teams you love to hate. Oh, it's Sports Channel 8. Yeah. Sports Channel 8. Hey! Hey! Hey!
It's Sports Channel 8, the streaming show. The Canes still undefeated at home in the playoffs. Josh Goodson says they're going to win in 6. Ben Swain says the officiating might not allow that in New York tomorrow. We'll talk about that. We'll talk.
Everything good over there, Perm?
Yeah, what's up?
Are you shooting like a hostage video?
No, hostage videos don't use green screen. I had the green screen set up because I dropped.
They should. Let's talk about that. Hostage videos should utilize a green screen.
The first time we shot something with we shot something for SB Nation with Bomani, and it was Chip and I. And we basically had we had Bomani's approval to do this thing. Like he was like, I trust you guys. Let's do it. You're not deceiving me when I know what your skills are, right? But I trust you. But the SB Nation people weren't quite on. So we tried to put together a decent looking setup because we were trying to get an all white background, but it was weird because the wall was painted green screen. So we had some in front of that. And they were like, the episode was overall good. Little bit of a Baghdad feel to the just the random white cloth in the background. So we want to do something with that, but it was and we look at it now, we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we actually presented that to someone. No, actually, I'm glad I left this up. I was being lazy because I worked on a new video. I know you hate on it because it's Jimmy Buffett song, but a listener hit me up and was like, when are we getting a Finns song for the Finns? It's sitting right there, and I was like, it's not a bad idea. So I made the video yesterday, and I'm pissed for 2 reasons. One, it's not getting any love. Our old songs are showing up on Kane's Reddit. I know I dropped it at the wrong time. It was mid-afternoon. Everyone's packing up, leaving to work. But it's a decently clever song, especially because I use Finnish words with the Google Translate over there. So go check out our new song. And I'm pissed because TikTok shut me down. And I didn't Buffett. But I've used other stuff, and it's not even it's some random dude's knockoff karaoke version. I find you got to go find cheap karaoke stuff to not get the background singers in there. Too often, you'll be doing your song and the background singers will come in singing a different term. So, all right.
Everybody go like his video. Go retweet it. Wah.
No, what I need to do is put up flash the bad comments. Oh, look at this guy who hated on our video. Guess I should quit doing videos now. So that everybody will respond and be like, no, we love your videos.
It just so you know that it's not you, Perm. Back when I was at Guilford College, my roommate and I had a rule that you could go into the other one's CD case and pull out 10 CDs that could not be played while the other one was in the room.
Okay.
All 10 that I pulled out of my roommates were Jimmy Buffett CDs.
For Buffett?
Yeah. All 10.
I can do one 10-song Jimmy Buffett greatest hits album. If I get to pick what's on there, I can survive. But yeah, shout out to Andrea. I believe she's the one who inspired the song that hit me up about Finn. Did you do your part, Andrea? Have you retweeted the Sports Channel 8 and my personal retweeting of the Sports Channel 8 and done it last night and this morning? We need more from you, Andrea. Make this thing run. I'm mad. And we got a goal from a Finn last night. And Ronta played well. Swain, answer the question. Why do we suck on the road and are good at home? Is it all refs? Can we just blame the refs? Is it the NHL?
Yeah, totally. No, it's there's an element of luck to it, which I think Goodson will agree with. But no, it's just we've seen it at home that the home fans have a lot to do with it, right? And so it's hard to go on the road and win in the playoffs. It's not unless it's a huge mismatch, it's not like anyone else in the playoffs is winning on the road, right? The Rangers have one win on the road throughout 2 series.
Sure.
So it's just difficult to go and win on the road. I've heard people attribute it to the line matchups that the home team gets the last change, and so
Jordan Stahl's not allowed to play in New York.
People are talking like that is like literally just
Jordan
happened in the
Stahl-
playoffs.
Jordan
Like
Stahl's not allowed to play in New York.
the playoffs started, now the road team can't do their shift second. It's wild that like it's become up now, and it's like I don't know, been happening for the entire time that hockey has existed, but just now is it a big deal?
Yeah, I think it's more. I think it has more to do with the fact that the Canes have played two good teams in the first and second round than it is that they can't win on the road, right? It's not like they're going to Nashville and they can't win there. It's not like they're playing the LA Kings and can't win there. Like they're playing two good teams, and that just happens sometimes.
Also, I hate to go all Josh Goodson, but why is the Western Conference having so much fun? And like, why do our games all stink? And the Western Conference games are like 7-6, late goals, overtimes, everyone's scoring. NASCAR hockey, super fun, and like ours are like grinding it out, and then somebody wins 3-1 or 2-1.
Yeah, the defense is so bad out west.
Makes it fun to watch though.
It is fun to watch. Like I made the comment last night because I watched pretty much all of St. Louis, Colorado the night before, and then watching Canes Rangers last night. It looks like the rink is twice as big in the West.
It's crazy
because they're flying around. They're like it's just end to end, wide open, and then you watch Canes Rangers, and it's like how many people can we fit in the neutral zone so we can't neither team can do anything. So it's just a style of play thing.
How does that translate? I mean, I know we're looking 2 series down the road now, but like when the West meets the East, which style usually? I guess Tampa's won the past couple of years, so their style's been pretty good. But is that a general thing? Like the West hockey is more wide open, upbeat, less defense.
I mean, they're not as good. They've got really good individual players out west, but they're just not as good overall as the teams in the East, except for Colorado. Like Colorado is just good in general, but and even then they struggle defensively, and their goalie's been letting in a lot of soft goals too. So who knows? But no, it's just the East is way better than the West. I mean, you look at like the Canes again have played Boston and New York. When Colorado, St. Louis is good, but getting to play Nashville in the first round like that, Nashville would not sniff the playoffs if they lived in the East. So, which they do live in the East, which is weird that they're in the West. But yeah, it's just it's more good teams in the East than there are in the West.
All right, I got a question for you, Goodson. You were at the game last night, correct?
Yes.
All right, hold on. I got a question for you here.
Did you leave early?
Hold on. We're getting to it. Question. All right, here is Goodson at the game. When was this picture taken, and how quickly after this picture taken you're like, oh, we're leaving, and we need to get a picture that we were here. Be honest. When did you leave, Goodson?
I think I stayed till like zero, like till the clock was 0. I did.
Canes with a 2-goal lead, and you stayed to the end?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I stayed to the end, and like, but as everyone stands up and they're clapping and whatever, I definitely did do all right, if you're with me, we're out. Like we're not staying to clap. Like we're good. We're good. Like we need to go. We don't need to see this. You're not missing anything. At the end of the day, it's not even like a big win because they didn't win anything last night. They didn't clinch anything, so there's no reason to sit there and waste time. Sitting there reveling in a win. No, it was a good time. Good time.
We need to come up with everybody's gotten on as always, we were trendsetters talking about the series not starting early in the first game. Like we got on that even before Portnoy was crowing about it in Boston. Now it's played out. Everybody's done it. We need like a new, I didn't feel like I heard we were mapping out what it would take for the Canes to go 16 and 12. So, and we still need Edmonton to beat Colorado, correct?
Or the Blues.
Or the Blues to beat Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
Okay. That series is still going? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We need something else to hang our hat on. Everybody's jumped on the series hasn't started yet, but no, I would personally love it if we went 16 and 12 in the playoffs and won all games at home.
Do you know who would not love that? Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Do they give away extra Chick-fil-A sandwiches?
No, it's like, every home win you get a free sandwich, right? So like the fact that the Canes aren't winning on the road and they're winning everything at home, it's all of the chicken sandwiches. And so Chick-fil-A, if you own stock in Chick-fil-A, I don't even know if it's publicly traded, but it's probably a good time to sell.
If you can own stock in Chick-fil-A, Goodson does. Do you have to have the app to get that? I never take advantage of that.
Yeah, you gotta have the app, and it just like throws a chicken sandwich into your rewards. It's awesome.
So how many games did they win this year? Like 50?
Oh, the Swain family probably has gotten 64 free sandwiches this year.
That's a lot. I guess the assumption is
are they with pickles?
No, you get it without pickles.
Okay,
like you add it to your mobile order, you go in and you can remove the pickles. I do that every time, and they do a good job of taking the pickles out.
All right, so here's my question. Do you when you are getting your free sandwich, you're just wrapping it into a Swain family order and it's just $5 less because you're getting a free chicken sandwich, correct?
No. Like we'll make fries at home, or like we'll literally just go through. And it's great. Like you go through the drive-through and you're like, yeah, I'm picking up 4 mobile orders. And it's like 1 mobile order for each of us. So our subtotal is $0.
Yes. Okay.
Your kids have their own phones so they can have their own accounts to do this. Nice.
This is fantastic.
Little guy does not have his own phone, but he does have he uses an iPad. So he has his own
device
Chick-fil-A account for that purpose. Yeah.
This
free sandwiches, man. Free
That's
sandwiches.
the new stuff. It's like you don't want your kids to have devices, but it's like, this is when you need to have a device, kid. Just hear me out. Go online and claim your free chicken sandwich.
And we've probably paid for the iPad in free sandwiches this year, if you look at it that way.
That's true. Yeah, for those just tuning in, yes, I have a green screen. I'm not using it. It's set up for earlier. Just scroll back and listen to why it's on there. Yes, okay. Well, then you were doing exactly how I want it, because Chick-fil-A obviously is like, well, nobody's just going to roll up here and get a free chicken sandwich. At the very least, they'll get our, a drink that's $2 that costs us 10 cents, whatever. Yeah. Like, we'll make our money back on them somehow. Like, not the Swain family. Like, give me stuff and I will give you nothing. That's how I would want to do it. I've got is it Sam Jones Barbecue? Now people just keep reward points, so you don't even have to like keep track of it, and you just go in there, and the only thing they'll give you is a barbecue sandwich for like 5 points. I can't get 25 points and get like a full meal, right? It's just a barbecue sandwich. And so every time I pay there, they're like, wow, you've got like 13 free barbecue sandwiches. One day I'm going to go in there and be like, I would like all of these barbecue sandwiches right now. I'll wait, but I'm paying nothing, and you're going to give me 20 barbecue sandwiches. It's going to be great. Anything else on the Canes last night or in general?
We're going to win tomorrow night.
Oh, yes. Okay. Goodson says they're winning tomorrow night. Why do you believe this?
No, I think they finally got a break last night. It wasn't a break. It was the right call. But the goal that looked like it was a goal that was brought back from all sides, right, that they waved off, that felt humongous, because it felt like in real time when they gave up the goal, they're like, I don't think they're going to win this game. They weren't really playing great up to that point. They had the shorty, but they didn't really, they hadn't done anything. They get a break. The correct call is made, and the whole building just felt like a weight was lifted a little bit. And like you could see the team like decided to like play well. Like the good players were like really good. Like it sounds stupid, but like the Canes need Aho and Svetch and Tavo to like be really good. And the Canes actually scored like 3 legit goals last night too, I believe. No, like the power play goal, great pass, great shot, great ending.
Shooting on the power play.
They just, it's an easy thing to say. Like they got a break and they won the game, but like it looked that from that point on, they were a totally different team. And from like just for me being able to watch that hockey novice and such, it just felt different. They felt faster, bigger, stronger, physical, and just better for like the last 30 minutes or so of the game.
But why do you think that carries into Game 6?
Because I feel like they finally got a break. They hadn't really got one, even if it was the correct call. It was just like a moment where like they finally went to the video replay and it actually ended up being what it should be, versus like a goalie interference. They should be a goalie interference, but it's not. Or is this guy bleeding? Oh, he is. Or it's a 4-minute power play. Just like all the random kind of not bad luck stuff, but just the Canes have not felt like they got like the right end of like a momentum shift or anything like that in this series, and I feel like they got it. And I think they're just over it now. I think they're over the Rangers. They're like, we don't want to play these guys anymore, so they're going to go up there and win tomorrow night.
I was on that on the replay. I was having Duke Miami football flashbacks because real time it was so obviously offsides. Like as soon as the puck hit the back of the net, I even tweeted review that's offsides, and they did, and they would, but it took forever to review it. And then they re-reviewed it after that to take another look at it. And I was like, oh, can't, we're getting screwed here. And like Goodson said, it ended up on the right end. A couple of other things to throw out there. The embellishment on the Ian Cole cross check on Trouba was ridiculous. Like it was like a sniper shot Trouba, and from minimal contact, that was ridiculous. But the Goodson, I know where your seats are. Was it? I can't remember what period it was. Was Seth Jarvis on your end when he took the stick to the mouth, or was he on the other end?
Yeah, it looked pretty. Yes, it was.
Do we need to worry about him like retiring from hockey this year?
After that,
he's like, dude, I can't do this for 12 years, man. This is like, I get hit in the balls, I get hit in the face, I'm getting beat up, like picked on, put down. Like he's got to be like, this really is the roughest sport, man. I didn't know it was like this.
Did you see? Did you catch the interview post game with Maniscalco? Did you see that from? I wish I had video of it, but yeah. For some reason, Bally decided to interview Seth Jarvis on camera last night, and I can't even describe what his mouth looked like, but it looked like he was still actively bleeding from his mouth, and his lips were just huge. And Mike even said something like kind of funny to him, and Jarvis laughed, and he's like, "Please don't make me laugh. My mouth hurts."
He looks like he's having he looks like he's having so much fun, but like, no, I'm like seriously worried that guy's going to like give up hockey because just the beating that he's taking in these playoffs.
One other thing about last night that I do want us to touch on is one of the coolest things about the traditions that we have here in Carolina is who is on the siren, right? Like who's going to be the siren sounder tonight? I think that needs to go away. I think it needs to go away. I think we found our permanent siren guy last night with Clint Dempsey, which is just one, so amazing that you get someone like Clint Dempsey to do the siren.
Yeah, like what a pull.
But two, like famously, there's a story where like there's all this like upheaval in U.S. men's national team and player revolt and all this stuff, and they called Dempsey, who was the captain of the team, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to get behind this." And famously, his answer was, "Man, I just want to fish and score goals." And so, as a way to not get involved in that. But you could see on the siren last night, it's a reeling motion, right? Like you're reeling in a fish. He could have done that thing for an hour straight and not gotten tired last night. And we've seen Moose do this up and close and personal, and Moose barely made it through like 10 seconds of it.
Moose is watching. He's gonna be mad.
I'll call him out. But man, like, and I'm sure Moose is I've never been fishing with Moose. I'm sure he's a good fisherman, but you can tell Clint Dempsey fishes a lot more than Moose does because that siren last night was the best I've ever seen.
Moose fishes with a bamboo pole and like a string on the end of it, and you just have to pick the bass out. Like Clint Dempsey does, like
twist the cane pole.
Yes.
So
Clint Dempsey is like fighting, blue marlins or whatever in the Gulf.
There was a lot of Rangers fans in there last night.
Well, the police need to step it up and do their job. Let's.
And it almost felt like they felt like they were coming in. They felt like over the last two games that they were just the better team in the series. Not so much that they had tied the series up, but there was this there was this air about them of like, we're coming in here and we're going to show up and we're going to be loud and we're going to be chesty because we just think we're better, and we're going to go back home to Madison Square Garden and win tomorrow night and get over it. And again, for a little bit there, it kind of felt like that. They felt like the better team again. But it was funny once the Canes started taking over. The crowd started chanting Igor numerous times, which is like hilarious. And then, what's the stupid song that the Rangers play when they score in Madison Square
Oh
Garden?
yeah, it's like
It's not even a song, but like all it is oh, like that. And so
it's like one of those songs that you download because you can't afford the license to a real song, and you use it. That's like what they use.
But every time the Canes scored their last 2 goals, I was doing that in the ears of the Rangers fans.
Yes, there we go.
Love
Wait,
it.
didn't you post about how you had a bunch of nice kids in front of you?
Yeah, but that was like there was a guy in front of them who was just a jackass and such. But
yeah,
they thought it was funny that that it was going on. But there was a lot of Rangers fans. Like I said, it felt like they just it was a done deal. They had figured out the Canes and they were going to win the series.
The evolution of the Rangers fans in this series has been tremendous because I was at game 2. I don't know how it was in game 1, but you said there weren't a ton of Rangers fans in game 1, right?
There wasn't as many in game 1 as there was last night.
Okay, so game 2, there were a lot of Rangers fans. So it's Friday night, so it makes sense. A lot of Rangers fans in game 2. At the beginning of the game, they're all like, man, this is awesome. Like, I didn't think it'd be this cool here. This is a really cool atmosphere and really, friendly. And as the game went on and the Canes scored a goal and then the Canes scored again, it started getting into like really angry Rangers fans. Same people, right? Like they start the game super happy, and as it goes on, they just turn into like furious Rangers fans. And like you said, they go home and they went to 2 games. They come in last night all chesty about it. It's been funny to see like how they've transformed from start to finish during this series.
Yep. All right. Elsewhere, we're not going to talk NBA other than I once again have to give Josh Goodson credit. I feel like he was the first person I saw being like NBA playoffs trash. Now I've seen like Jim Rome's put out tweets saying that they're trash. Like other people just jumping on Goodson's bandwagon. I think people are hopeful that a Warriors Celtics final could be a bunch of good basketball, but we'll see.
They're missing LeBron. I legit think that. Like, if he was still there and LeBron was still like, and the Lakers were in these games, no one would really care.
Yeah,
like, they were all blowouts. But the fact that they're not there. The games have sucked.
I can't tell if Brian Geisinger is actually taking your band seriously or if he just has been busy. But like, I don't think he's come on to talk NBA playoffs that you told him he wasn't allowed on until there's a good NBA playoff game.
I just assumed as a Chris Paul fan, he thought the playoffs were over.
Mean. Look, you guys are making fun of Moose, making fun of. I know you talk crap about me when I'm not there. Doing it to Moose and BG, that feels low. Hold on, real quick. Do we know how the Canes got Clint Dempsey, Swain? Do we know why he's in town?
I mean, he lives in Pinehurst now, or
Does
near
he?
Pinehurst. Yeah, his wife is from here, and evidently, I learned last night. Evidently, his kids play for NCFC, so his kids play soccer here now.
Wonder where he lives in Pinehurst. He lives in CCNC.
I mean, it's near a pond. We know that.
We'll find out. And then, actually, not too long ago, I had somebody from the Canes, or maybe they used to work with the Canes, that hit me up because when we were talking about siren sounders, and he was like, "I love to hear you guys talk about that. That's one of the cool things we started years ago, and it's cool to hear people care who the siren sounder is, and it's become part of Canes culture." But Swain wants to end that and make Clint Dempsey permanent siren sounder.
I felt like State fans weren't very excited about Dave Doran last night.
They weren't.
Not on Twitter, at least.
Yeah, there was.
I feel like third period siren sounder is just kind of. Yeah. It could be whoever it is. It's no one's really going to care, to be quite honest with you. I didn't care. I was at the game and did not care.
So are State fans mad that like Lavelle Moten got to do the first period siren when everybody cares, and then Dave Doran goes and does like the third period siren?
Yeah, I don't know. It feels very much like crap. We don't have someone who's nearby that could potentially like. His office is a block away, right? And I'm sure he wanted to, was going to go to the game and whatever and such.
Do they need? Have they gotten Terquavian Smith on there? Because he's going to be gone forever soon. They need to get him on there.
Dave was just back from a trip to he was not at the Wolfpack Club Caravan meeting in Raleigh, which was kind of surprising that he wasn't there. He was at Pebble Beach playing golf.
Okay.
The summer, Dave Doran.
Good likes him more.
This is the summer of Dave right now. Like the hype, the team last year, all the other stuff that comes with that. Like that guy's just living right now.
That's that off-season life.
Yeah, we just had a question about the hype man for when McCaffrey did it. Yeah, it was Jeremy Chin and Brian Burns, and much like when Moose did the siren, the hype men around him were the star of the show.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
That happens quite a bit.
I do think that does make it look cool. And I talked to Lavelle Moan about it. I still love that he became a meme. He just kind of had he was getting into it, but just kind of his hangdog face made it look like, oh man, I gotta grate this cheese some more. But he's been in good spirits about that.
Who's the next state coach to do it? Because you've had the women's coach, you've had a women's player, you've had Dave Doran now. Because it's not going to be Kevin Keats, right? Like, they're just not going to ask Kevin Keats to do it. So who is the next state coach to do it?
What about state player? Didn't some tennis player knock off a big seed in the NCAA tournament?
I don't know. It should be Devin. It should be Devin Leary from here.
You don't want his arm doing that though.
Yeah.
Probably be Elliott Avent once they get if there's I don't know if they get out.
He's busy though. He's kind of busy right now.
Or what about freaking Tommy Tanks? Dude, get that guy in the siren. I'd love to see what that dude could do to it. Like, show him McCaffrey and Clint Dempsey and be like, we bet you can't beat that. He'd be like, let's go.
He already did. No, he already did it. Tommy Tanks did it. He did it a couple weeks ago, and it actually made news because he had got hurt the game before, and everybody's like, well, I guess he's okay. Like,
don't be doing that thing if you're hurt. I mean, that was the joke with McCaffrey. It was like, whoa, he's up. All right, speaking of college football, we learned a couple things this week, including start times for our opening week games. Is that correct, Josh Goodson? Did I see this right? NC State, ECU, the big game, September what?
3rd. It's Labor Day Saturday.
Labor Day Saturday, State ECU at Saturday. But then did I also see UNC and App State is going to be the same day at noon?
Same time at noon.
I get State ECU is going to be on ESPN, right?
Yeah.
So that's like big time proper. And I'm sure that App UNC is going to be on like ACC Network or ESPN4 or whatever it is. I feel like this happens from time to time in basketball or football where it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know all the things that go into the schedule and all the different moving parts, but it just seems like those are two games that you wouldn't play at the same time. But go ahead.
What day is UNC App?
It's September the 3rd.
They're both on Saturday, I think.
Hey Siri, cancel the Holmes tickets September 3rd.
No, but it's UNC App, so he can be there and watch both his teams play.
Right, he's not gonna have a concert.
Yes,
so cancel whatever show he's doing that day is gonna get canceled. So
conspiracy theory. Are they trying to limit the debauchery of a State ECU tailgate by putting that one in there? Like, did both?
I think that's over. I think
it probably is too. I think ultimately it comes down to when does TV want you to play on their TV stations. Like, I think that is the overall. I mean, when we did the 12 o'clock kickoff song, it was like.
Well, you got to remember whenever you're on the ESPN properties, we're on the East Coast. Like that also plays into it. Like they're not gonna if there's West Coast or Midwest games that are on the same group, they're not gonna put those at noon Eastern time. So like that, you're already going to be shaded to playing at noon more often than not, just because of just like time zones.
Which is why everybody should be on Eastern Standard Time.
Fair.
Or I don't know, man. I feel like
let's be honest. Like, is it really going to cut down the debauchery, or is tailgating going to start at?
It'll start at 6 a.m.
It'll just start.
They should open parking lots on Friday night.
100%.
After the bars close at 2 a.m.
Somebody, I saw your boy Goodson. How far away are you from getting an RV for tailgating? See, he's thought about
it. RV for me is almost like boat.
Okay.
A lot of upkeep.
All right, fair. How long before you I'm not minimalist, but like I just don't like to do a lot of stuff. Sure.
It seems like it's a lot of work to have a boat or have an RV and it also be like well kept and such. And I just don't have the time or the care to do that. I
saw your boy Joe Deloach talking about how like parking for a Canes game is $30. parking for an RV.
Yeah, they go out there and park their RV
and like
$4 or something like that.
Yeah, and it's basically the same price, and you've got a bathroom and a full grill or whatever. I just feel like at some point you're going to be like, you know what? I'd like to go to State ECU, tailgate at night, have a bed and air conditioning to sleep in, and wake up and be at my tailgate. I could just see you like lining up your convenience in that way.
Nah, but the good thing is I have a cousin that literally lives like across the street from the stadium that we'll probably stay at. So.
All right, fair enough. And then also, BG pointed this out, but I agree. I'm not trying to pick on this person, but this happens too often. National person writes a thing. NC State's Devin Leary is the best college quarterback that no one's talking about, right? Now, by no one, she means I haven't seen the 4 other national college football writers that I regularly talk to. I haven't seen them do this feature, so that constitutes no one talking about it. I mean, we talked about this. Goodson, for like 3 years, half his tweets have been something about Devin Leary, right? And beyond that, like, I do think he's well talked about. It just, I noticed the rest of her tweets, she dropped the nobody's talking about part, because it does just sound like, I don't know, like that used to be one of the coolest things about freaking Dick Vitale. We talk about all the things we like him, the things we like about him and being a cheerleader for college basketball. That dude would be like, yo, I read the Durham Herald Sun this morning, and I read the News and Observer this morning, and these are the dudes that they're talking about for, Duke or UNC basketball, right? Like, having the humility to be like, let me turn to the local people and see what they're saying, and like have that. It just smacked of like, we set the national conversation. There are 5 of us writers who decide what the national conversation is about college football, and because we haven't decided it's a topic yet, now I could say no one's talking about it. And again, it's unfair to pick on Nicole because a lot of people do it, but it was just sort of like the latest iteration. And when it's Devin Leary, who again, like nobody's talked about more than Josh Goodson, I just found it a little bit funny.
It's also, I feel like it's also a play for all these writers to like, if State does go on to have a good season, they can then go back to, remember back in June or back in May, we told you about this guy, and look what happened. And like, I'm sure like down the road, like there'll probably be she'll probably write an article on Bryce Young at Alabama in the same light of like, no, yes, we're talking about him, but let me give you some background, and so that she can have that story ready to go when they make the college football playoff in like 4 months from now.
Which is more annoying, the nobody's talking about Devin Leary or the nobody's talking about North Carolina basketball, when literally everyone has always talked about North Carolina basketball? Which one's more annoying, Hayes?
I don't know.
I want to go back and pull audio from you from this show being like, dude, nobody's talking about Carolina.
What? That you have never caught me saying no one's talking about Carolina. It's not even that. It's the let's change that. Like the arrogance of like, now I am setting the table for this discussion. I just, and again, like if you're writing a good feature on someone, isn't it like wouldn't you be right? Wouldn't you want to brag something that you got out of Devin Leary that like nobody else knew? Like Devin Leary did whatever. I feel like you'd be featuring that instead of making the tweet about you writing about the person. Like make the tweet about the person that you're writing about, not about the fact that you're writing about him. I don't know. Anyway.
No, it's either that or it's you thought you knew Devin Leary. You did not know Devin Leary. Yes. I'm going to tell you about that's the other one that kills me. And the first paragraph is always, I'm sitting in a restaurant in Raleigh, North Carolina. The story is about the person that's writing the article every single time, and that drives me insane. Thank you for
in the corner is this guy who would not appear to be anybody, but let me tell you.
Yeah. I don't know. I like good sports writing. I really do. I own a lot of books. I like reading the best sports writing, but like I try not to go full Swain, but every now and then it gets drawn in. There is an arrogance, especially with like people who achieve a certain status. And like Nicole's great and she's award winning and she should, right? Like, but with that comes a little bit of this, like now, I set the table for what people talk about.
We should just do that now. We should start going ahead and doing that for like, no one's talking about UNC basketball next year going 40-0 till now.
I used to describe Swain hates local writers too, so I don't even know if this applies. But like, I feel like growing up, the local writers felt like people who like loved sports and loved their area, and they want you to love it too, right? And like national people are like people who think that they have gathered knowledge, and now if you are nice to them, or now if you pay their subscription, they will impart that knowledge that they have gained to you and make you smarter. It feels like I used to describe the difference between high school teachers and college professors, even college professors who I liked and are great. High school teachers felt like they are nerds who just love their subject and they want you to love their subject too. Like my best physics teacher is like, I know you're not all going to be physics people, but I love this thing. And let's get together and teach you physics. And college professors felt like, I own all of the physics knowledge and it stands here. And if you play by my rules, I will give some of it to you so that you too can have some of it. And that's, I feel like, kind of is the difference between local writers and national writers too.
Using that example, and since you made the comment that I hate local writers, I don't hate local writers. What I hate is using that example is the teacher that outwardly loves the subject that they're teaching and they love sharing that knowledge with the class. And then as soon as they leave class, all they do is they bitch about how much they hate their students and how annoyed they are that they've got to go to class and teach this stupid subject.
Fair.
And that's the part that we see where there's just such a disdain and a hatred for the people that consume media that it just has completely turned me off from anyone that does that job. And then don't turn around and tell me how important you are to society and the job that you're doing for society when you're writing about a freaking basketball game and literally no one cares.
Fair. But, anything else college football wise? Goodson, do you have your tickets already for State ECU?
They're not out yet.
And I saw that State was an 8-point favorite when it opened and now up to a 10-point favorite. Are you have you put money on the game yet?
No, because limits are very low early in right now. Right. But I would take State probably up to 14.
Don't sound too excited about it.
You're not going to put $11,000 on NC State in that game?
I had no idea they would lose.
I never would have fathomed that State could lose this game.
Did I see correctly that Duke is a touchdown favorite over Temple?
Yes.
Okay, that's Duke is a touchdown favorite over the school that it's the Carolina Panthers feeder system.
Temple admittedly does stink now though, so Duke should be fine.
Yeah, because they used to be awesome.
All their good players left for the Panthers now, and coaches apparently. All right, a couple other things. Randomly, I don't really want to talk about the ACC baseball tournament, but it is, and this comes up multiple times, and it's come up for several years. One of those other ones where, like, I get it. I don't know all the moving parts and all the complications that went into turning over from Raycom to the ACC network, but it's just laughable and embarrassing. Like, ACC baseball during the day in May when there aren't a lot of sports on should be the most obvious thing to have on the ACC network. And instead, you tune into the ACC network this week, and it's like replayed spring games. Again, I'm sure somebody can be like, we all know this is stupid. In order to get the deal done, the final negotiations, we had to, allow Raycom, which then sold the rights to Bally Sports, whatever, the tournament for 3 more years. I get that, like, you couldn't control it, but it just looks stupid. And it's one of the, like, few times that you can actually.
But it also looks like something that could be fixed.
It literally does. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the answer would be, but, like, yes, it does seem like one of those things that's so embarrassing that you'd be like, whatever it is, pay Raycom an extra $500,000 and just get the ACC baseball tournament on the AC network. Again, one of the few times that people, like, casually might be like, you know what? State's playing that. Don't they have that kid that hits a bunch of home runs? Like, nothing else is on. Like, people would watch it like they watch golf on Thursdays or Fridays, right? Just turn on the ACC baseball tournament. But no, it's on Bally Sports, and it's just laughable. I don't know how you let it happen. Other things. Goodson wanted to chime in on Top Gun. We had a request for a Top Gun review.
Actually, you saying that just jogged something about that. I think the next frontier for sports networks are weekday sporting events, like during the day. Because now, like, you turn on ESPN now, and it's wall to wall the same, like, debate show with just different hosts, right? But with so many people working from home now, it's just so easy to throw on, like you said, a baseball game, or college golf, or just throw that on during the day And people will absolutely watch that instead of actively avoiding the shows that you have on.
People will go. I don't feel like anybody works normal hour like 8 to 5s
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. People might roll out. People might roll out if they watch on Thursday and they're like, oh, that's in Winston-Salem and I'm in Greensboro. They might go, or the random. I mean, we'll see this in some laughable ways, but like, what was it the other week where like random chick at a Virginia Tech basketball game was flashing the screen? You know, like you don't want that. If you're the ACC network, if you're fans of the game, you might, but like random moment that might occur, or like dude that gets hot and has like 8 birdie holes in a row, and all of a sudden Twitter's talking about it, and 10,000 people tune into the ACC network that would never have watched it just because it becomes a thing. But like, yeah, just run your sports full time. It's the reason we like live sports, of like, even at a game we don't care about, it has the anything can happen element. So like, yeah, turn on whatever you're playing the golf tournament at a cool course, turn that on, let us watch it, you know, play the whatever, and we'll find a reason to watch it. Not every time, but like, you never know when people will just stumble into a live sport.
Yeah, it's like 10 in the morning right now. I'm sitting here, I've got, you know, let's say I've got like the game on the TV right now, and I'm doing my work, and I'm just thinking, man, I could use a tactical razor, you know, and then it's right there on TV. I'm going to buy it now, where if it's on at 8:30 at night, I have no use for it. So
True.
Yeah, for the sponsors, let's get this done.
All right, you wanted to talk Top Gun, Josh Goodson?
I didn't know if anybody had any opinions on it. I mean,
I haven't seen it. I always thought Top Gun was a little bit overrated. I saw the original, and the video game was way too hard. It's like, you wanted the video. Do you remember Nintendo Top Gun, Swain?
No, I don't. I didn't even know that was a thing. That was a thing.
Like it came out with the movie, and like, you know, so it was just like young boys were like, let's fly planes and shoot stuff. But
well,
it
felt like a movie. It felt like a movie that I didn't need to see like another. I don't need a continuation of it, I guess. Like I don't need a sequel, I guess is what I'm getting at.
So it's a true sequel. It's not like a remake. It's like a true sequel of.
I think script-wise, it's supposed to be a sequel, but I think script-wise, it comes off very much as a remake from my understanding of it. I'm not trying to go all in on the movie industry in general, but like that's always going to be your dilemma. If you do a remake, the people most likely to come out and see it are like the people who love it, and they want to see the thing that they already love, right? So do you just give them that again, or do you actually try and make a cool movie built on the premise of what was a cool movie? Like, you know, and there's no real way to win. We're seeing that with like the Star Wars remakes, where like I forget the names of them, but not the 3 crappy prequels, but the second series of 3, where the first one was basically the first Star Wars totally retread, but it was like, no, that's fine. That's all I wanted to see. I wanted to see, you know, X-Wings and, you know, droids and stuff like that. I got to see it.
I did like the one. Yeah, I can't even tell you what it's called. The one where it's like the whole backstory into like one thing that contributed to the Death Star blowing up.
Yeah, Rogue One. Yes,
that's cool. That's cool to like pick a small event and then give me the backstory leading up to that event. And it's got to be an event that I remember. Like I didn't have to know a lot about. Like I haven't seen. Was it Empire Strikes Back? Is that when the Death Star blows up, or Jedi, whatever?
It blows up a few times. It blows up in the first one, Star Wars.
So Swain wants to see a movie, a Top Gun prequel, where they learn why did they learn the song "You've Lost That Loving Feeling," and he wants that whole movie surrounded around how they learned that song and where they learned that song.
What contributed to their love of volleyball?
Yes. You could basically do like a
that in Walker, Texas Ranger, who was also then in Top Gun. You want to see a movie of him, his iteration.
You want a Top Gun universe. And then speaking of universes, Star Wars new stuff is out. Goodson, actually, you are possibly into Obi-Wan.
I'll probably watch it. I may watch it like now. I think it's on now. Like I think it is. I could go watch it after we're off of this, and I think I am. No, like I would say I'm a Star Wars fan, Star Wars guy, but I'm not like the Mandalorian thing. There's nothing that really intrigued me from that. Like, give me exactly like what Swain's saying. Like, we know that the first Star Wars you see old ass Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you're like, well, what the hell are you doing there, dude? And what have you been doing there? I will watch what you've been doing there, right? And so just give me that. I don't need to What is it? The scene of in the first Star Wars where they're in the bar and there's like all the music in the bar scene.
Cantina.
I don't need a movie talking about like 4 of the characters in the bar scene. Like I don't care.
Right.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, though, I can get down with that to see what the hell he was doing for like 30 years.
Have you ever watched?
Everybody know, like you don't have to remember Star Wars to remember Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like he's
Sure.
one of the main dudes, and yeah, that's perfect. Like I just said, I couldn't tell you what movie the Death Star exploded in, but like I remember that it happened, and
yeah, all of them. The Death Star blew up in all of them.
All of them. Okay.
It's like Kenny from South Park. You killed the Death Star again. We're gonna rebuild it secretly. Oh wait, I had something else on Obi-Wan. Yeah, we want to learn when Obi-Wan starts singing "You Lost That Loving Feeling." Apparently, yeah. I had something else on it, and I can't remember. You would like. Have you ever seen any of the? You're gonna roll your eyes when I say this, but have you ever watched Robot Chicken? Seth Green show with like claymation and it's a great show. They make fun of stuff. One of my favorite all time skits. This will describe it. This will explain. You'll like this. It's it's an animated, or again, it may be like claymation, stop action, whatever it is. 2 turtles are having like a knife fight, and it's very like crude. They're like, well, they're going at it, whatever, and they're underwater, so like little stuff's like floating by or whatever, and they're both like duking it out. And at one point, a 6-pack of plastic ring bottles is like floating by, and one of them grabs it and chokes the other one out. Right? Like, I knew you would like.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay, so it's that type of show. It's like it's on Adult Swim. It's like quick cutter hits. But they years ago, before Family Guy, before anybody else did like Star Wars parodies, I think they got permission to do Star Wars parodies, and they use the old action figures and like stop animation. It's amazing. And because you mentioned I don't want to know about the guys in the canteen or whatever, there is a backstory, and you'll have to watch it. It's basically like a little 3-minute clip, and it's the guy who gets his arm cut off, but it's like how his day was going about that day, whatever. And like he's at his like architecture drafting job, and the guy's like, "Hey, you want to go get a beer afterwards?" He's like, "No, I really shouldn't. I'm finishing up some work." And he's like, "No, come on," And then basically it's from his perspective, and he's being very nice, and the guy's trailing something for him. He's like, "You shouldn't mess with this guy." He's like, "No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm sorry we bumped into each other." And then he gets fired from his job because his arm gets cut off, whatever. Basically, it's what Goodson describes he doesn't want, but because it's in a 3-minute package and it's funny, it's worth watching. So check it out. I think Andrea M might be a fan as well. With the time remaining,
Are Mudcats in town this weekend, Perm?
yes, the Mudcats are in town. They're on a amazing streak right now. They were down 8-2 after 3 innings on Tuesday night's game. They came back and won 11-8. Then they won the next night 13-0. And then last night they gave up a home run in the top of the night. They were about to basically close out the game. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Guy ties it up in the home run, but the Mudcats win an extra. So Mudcats are cruising.
Nice.
I caught some heat from so the North State Journal stopped by. They're doing a tour of like minor league franchises, and one of the reporter asked me like, "Oh, are you guys competing with the Bulls?" And my answer was like, "The Bulls are on another level. It's basically a major league experience." But then I also said, "But on a Friday night at 4:00, if you would decide you want to go, you might not be able to go to the Bulls, right? Ticket, or you might have to pay a higher price." And somebody, not who works for the Bulls, but works for a closely associated company, was like, "Why did you say the Bulls cost more money?" And I reread the quote, and I was like, pretty sure I said they're a major league like experience and demand is high, and that the Mudcats can't compete with that. My bad, I guess. So yes,
tickets are like $5.
To the Bulls.
Yeah,
that's not true.
Yeah, you can go sit in the outfield for $5.
The outfield, I don't sit in the outfield. And my quote said, if you decide at 4:00 you want to go, you might have trouble like getting tickets. And I even this part was cut off. It was like, and you got to sit next to people.
Yeah,
like in a minor league game, like I want to be able to like just spread out. Like I want to be able to sit in with a nacho chair in between me and the next person, right? But yeah. So apparently that was a bad thing for me to say. So We'll see if
I will say that you can take this back to your friend of the Bulls that's mad about that. I'm mad about the big sign that's outside of the ballpark that says Wednesday kids eat free, and then you look at the fine print and it's like they get a hot dog. It's not come to the stadium and like anything the kids want. It's you get a hot dog.
Chick-fil-A is offering a better deal for the Swain family.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to stay home and eat Chick-fil-A.
All right. With the little time remaining, we have just enough time to decide if things are overrated, underrated, or properly, rightly rated. This is, what are the odds I'm going to press the right button here?
0.
But I had the volume down, so I can't give myself full points. Ooh, all right. Overrated. First up, Winnie the Pooh. Is Winnie the Pooh overrated, underrated, or rightly rated? Do you know why this is coming up?
Yes.
This comes up because apparently there's going to be a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is a nightmare reimagining of the beloved bear, and Josh Goodson is in. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey imagines the beloved. I mean, look at this, dude. The indie horror title is currently in production. Quite a staggering directorial debut. The cast includes, well, I don't care, and Piglet and others includes the Cage Man and the Mauled Woman. How do we feel about horror Winnie the Pooh? Is Winnie the Pooh overrated, underrated, or rightly rated? Swain.
The funniest thing I saw about this was a tweet that it was rated B for bother, which is an incredible Winnie the Pooh joke. I need Piglet in that mask to do the siren at the Canes game.
Stop.
Just like an evil Stormy. We need evil Stormy.
That would be fun. Like an evil Stormy I could get behind.
Winnie the Pooh is incredibly overrated.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh's kind of creepy as himself. I read something, I can't remember this was, maybe on Reddit or something, where it was like girlfriend was complaining about her boyfriend walking around in an undershirt and no underwear, and he called it Winnie the Poohin. Just walking around with a shirt and then just the privates hanging out. And I thought that was an amazing term. It made me want to do it, but I'm like, no, that feels so weird walking around with a shirt and nothing else. So yes, Winnie. One time I ran to the bathroom in the middle of the night and had a shirt on and no underwear, and I came back and my wife was like, "Are you Winnie the Poohing?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, very briefly." Goodson, Winnie the Pooh.
I'm with you. I think it's overrated now. I think as a kid, I thought it was fine, but Winnie the Pooh didn't really age well. He never had like a next iteration to keep up with the times type thing.
Is it a comedy? Like, is Pooh funny? Does he tell jokes, or is he just like lovable?
I don't remember.
Honestly, the
only thing I remember is I think they had a Christmas special at one point. I remember watching that as a kid. Like all shows at some point had like a Christmas themed show, but I never understood the concept of it. I know about the Christopher Robin thing was a thing, but like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It was one of those things that, like, as a kid, exist, but you don't even really know. It's like Alice in Wonderland. Like, I immediately recognize it. I know it. I know the characters. And then somebody's like, well, explain it to me. What is Alice in Wonderland? I'm like, I don't really know.
I don't really know.
It's like Alice. She gets lost.
I think Alice in Wonderland is kind of dope, actually. That's different for me than Winnie the Pooh.
All right. But I feel like it was one of those things that you knew existed, but you never remember learning.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I know about Winnie the Pooh, and this is a good thing about it, is I think Eeyore is a good insult to someone that acts like all mopey and
yes.
Like if you call them an Eeyore, like that's a solid thing that comes.
Would watch an Eeyore prequel.
Yeah, a backstory on Eeyore. Yeah,
like what made you so pissy?
About
he's like super happy at the beginning, and then some traumatic experience happens that turns him into Eeyore. That would be I'm down for that.
Yeah, basically, you're saying he lost that love and feeling.
Yeah.
All right, next up on rightly rated, Holes in One. Are they overrated?
That's looking good. That's in the hole. That's it.
All right, so this is supposed to be a Tom Brady hole-in-one shot, and he tweeted it out as, "This is why you video every shot you take. See if it's a hole-in-one." I'm bringing this up as Riley rated holes in one, but my real question is, do you believe that Tom Brady hit this hole in one, or is this BS, Swain?
No, that it's absolutely BS. That was clearly CGI on the second shot. And anybody can film themselves taking a swing and then celebrating like they hit a hole in one. I don't believe it.
So, all right, this is what's weird to me. Goodson, I'll let you chime in. Do you believe it?
I do.
Of course you do. You're such a rube. It's the same company where he did some other like unbelievable thing. Like he threw the football, outside of the stadium and hit something perfect or whatever. And the same production company that did that. And that was like obviously fake. They did this one. But like, I'm okay with you doing a fake thing that looks preposterous. This is a real thing that people actually do and you're faking it. And like, you're cheat, like that people celebrate as an accomplishment. So by faking this, I'm like again, we've seen athletes do this, like, oh, jumping over a car or whatever. And it's like those things are fine to fake. This is like, again, it'd be like faking running a marathon or something. Like you have them filming you and the guy getting progressively sweatier and then putting together a video, be like, look, he ran a marathon, but it's fake. You're like, but that's something that you could accomplish and that people like do. So that's why not only do I think it's fake, I'm like not making too big a deal of it, but I'm like, I'm not a fan. Don't like it. Sorry, Brady.
I think to the original question, I actually think hole-in-ones are a little overrated.
Why is that?
Like, I think they're cool. Like, but like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is, I don't want to say it's luck. I think there's a lot more luck. I think there's way, way, way more luck involved in it actually happening than just pure skill. Like we've all hit good golf shots before.
Sure.
Like
it's just a matter of whether or not it rolled in or right.
Did it roll in or like we had? What was it? A couple weeks ago, whenever we played the same par three, I hit it close. You hit it close. We all. I mean.
Yep.
I don't know. It would have been cool if it had gone in, but I don't think it would have made you any like better of a golfer. I would not now think of you as like you're incredible or not incredible because it didn't go in. So
I feel like this fits with what a lot like your takes on Christmas and whatever. It's the anticipation of a hole in one. Cause like you said, we played that when I hit that shot, I got to stand there for 3 seconds and be like, it's probably not a hole in one. But more than most of the other shots I hit, like there's a chance that might go in the hole. And for 3 seconds, I get to like.
It would be cool. It'd be cool to write a 1 down on the scorecard. But at the end of the day, it's just kind of like.
But no, totally agree. It doesn't change anything about you as a golfer. I mean, I know plenty of people who have holes in ones that like, I mean, some of my closest holes in ones are bladed it and it rolled up.
Yeah.
Like still would have counted, but
the shot that I had at the Sports Radio Open last week, right? Like that was a foot from the hole. It never got more than 20 feet off the ground, and it rolled and like hooked along the contour and like rolled towards the. It was not a good golf shot. It was not like, and if it had gone in, like to Goodson's point, I'm not leaving that hole going, man, I was a perfect swing, it's, because it wasn't, it's just, it's very much all luck. And I mean, it's cool to do it, but yeah, like you said, it doesn't mean it's not like going out and pitching a perfect game.
I'd rather shoot under, like if you told me tomorrow, like you can choose one of these things to do tomorrow in your next round of golf, I'd rather shoot under par than like, I would take shooting under par over a hole in one any day of the week, anytime.
Yeah. I remember the time I was on with Josh Graham talking about playing golf, and he was like, "Oh, do you break par?" And I was like, "No."
Am I talking to you right now instead of like
people do this? That's not a thing that you just go do. I'm like, for a hole once every 5 rounds, yes, I do have a birdie. Yes.
I'm with Goodson. If you told me that I could pick a hole in one or I'm gonna hit 15 greens in regulation, I would 100% pick the 15 greens in regulation.
Agreed.
No, I dig it. Wait, I had something else. Oh, and I will say a hole in one, like contacts would be cool. Like if you were playing golf with your wedding party because you're getting married the next day, like a hole in one there, or like, you don't think
the hole in one at the hole in one
Still luck. All those things apply, but like, or like you're playing at Pinehurst, like.
Well, I was gonna say hole in one at 17 at Sawgrass.
Yeah.
Or hole in one at the one the golf tournament in Phoenix, right? On the 16th with the crowd, like stuff like that.
Yes. Or how about this? So my wife is very competitive. I get a little more practice at golf.
Hole in one at Carolina Country Club.
Yeah.
Like just
let's go try that now.
There's a plaque because Arnold Palmer had not a hole in one. What's the harder one? Albatross. He had an albatross, I think, on number 1 at Country Club. So there's like a plaque to him. I think he's like one of 2 people that has an albatross there or something. Mary Aiken and I were playing putt-putt, and she was beating me like late. She had played like really well, and I had a couple holes where I got stuck behind a rock, so I ended up with like a 4 or something, and she was just consistently putting in, 2s, maybe a random 3. We come to the 17th hole, and I'm down a stroke. So I make a hole in one. So now basically if she gets a 2, we're even. And she follows it with a hole in one. So I'm like, oh my God, right? Then the next hole, and this is the 18th, there's stuff. I go another hole in one, pure luck. It like sort of bent around some rocks. And then she couldn't match. And she was so mad that I finished hole in one to win the match.
I think hole in one and putt putt is cooler than hole in one on a
hole in one and putt putt. That feels good, dude. Yeah. Especially, I mean, it's still luck, but like at least you are attempting a hole in one on a lot of the holes. Like when you hit it, right? Like when I hit a par 3, I'm attempting to hit the green, and if it just so happens to roll up to the hole, great. Like at putt putt, you're like, all right, it's still going to be luck, but I am going to try and take it off that wall, then that wall, and then come back. And when it does it, you're like, oh.
I made a face at the wedding party thing because of the tradition of if you hit a hole in one, you have to buy drinks for everybody that you're with. And if you're in a wedding party, you're with everybody that's there, right? It's not like you got your 3 buddies that you're playing golf with and you're going to go buy 3 beers. You're spending $1,000 on drinks right there.
Yeah, but counterpoint, if you're the wedding party, you're like, I'm already paying for your free drinks. That is the hole in one.
Dude, if I'm with you at your wedding party and you hit a hole in one and you try to pull dude, you wouldn't be here if I didn't pay for it.
Wedding is free.
You're an asshole.
I think that's a stupid tradition, by the way, but that's just me. Having to pay when you hit the hole in one, I think that's stupid.
I also think that's stupid.
I think everyone on the golf course at the time you were there, even if you're not playing with them, has to leave like $5 at the bar for you to, either have or get, like almost like a bounty every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not overrated is dads paying for the golf. I remember playing at Chip Patterson, and we played at CCNC, and his dad had paid for everybody to play, I'm pretty sure. So we're already getting free golf, free carts. And then they have like a hut out there, at the halfway point or whatever. And so it's kind of like how we do sometimes in the media ones where we roll up and we're like, what you got? And like everybody's ordering one thing, whatever. And then it's like time to pay. And she's like, oh, no, it's all paid for. And then everybody's like, well, then maybe I'll take $2 million. Maybe, you know what? I will take a few more of those. So that's never underrated. Free drinks at the golf course. And finally for Rightly Rated, just because Moose called us out, he's watching just to make sure it happens. Warm-ups. Overrated, underrated, or rightly rated. This comes up. I don't even know what this is. The Swiss hockey team, Moose?
It's the World Championships are going on right now. Which is funny because like it's a lot of NHL dudes that aren't in the playoffs are playing in the World Championships.
All right, so here's the Swiss hockey team warming up. He's like trying to get another reaction, not getting a reaction. All right, one laugh from a trainer. Nobody else. He's like, guys, you not seeing this? Warm-ups, overrated, underrated, or rightly rated.
That video is problematic to me, man. I mean, like how many scandals have we learned about in hockey over the past 2 or 3 years?
That's true.
Yeah, so like that. Yeah, I think that video is a little problematic.
Warming up is overrated.
Stretching is warm up, man. They're like waiting in the tunnel, but
I didn't know what to call it, man. It was just an excuse to show the video.
No, warm-ups are totally underrated. Warm-ups are overrated.
Stretching is underrated. I'm learning
Stretching is overrated. Who was it? was it Antonio Brown that was like, I've never seen a cheetah stretch. Like he just gets up and runs, and that's what I do too. So that's always been my mantra, even though I don't run very fast. No, I hate stretching, but no, it is necessary.
Is there anything more useless in basketball than the layup lines?
No,
This stretch.
NBA warm-ups though are underrated because it is amazing to sit there and watch them make like 95 3-pointers in a row. Like unguarded, they just don't miss. I'll never forget. I remember my first NBA game was a Charlotte Hornets game. Glenn Rice played in it. I don't remember anything that happened in the game. I just remember before the game sitting there and just watching Glenn Rice and maybe even like Vlade Divac was just tossing in. And you're like, dude, these dudes don't miss.
But you can't tell me that like Steph Curry couldn't show up 5 minutes before tip off and go out and shoot 50%.
I'm sure he would be fine. I'm just saying from a pure entertainment standpoint, it is cool to sit there and watch, just watch.
Part of me wonders, is that part of it? Like, is that like get fans in the stadium early so they're buying stuff and
definitely. I feel like that used to be part of baseball's play of like, come out, watch BP, the guys might flip you a ball. Like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're not doing anything nearly as impressive as the basketball players. We went long today, but we've been missing some shows. So it was good to catch up on the Canes and some other topics. Apparently, we went too long for Josh Goodson because he's out. For Swain, Moose, BG, Goodson, our good friend Brendan, all the listeners. Seth Jarvis. Go listen to my damn song. It's at Sports Channel 8. Sports Channel 8. Am I on the right one? We're out.
Sports, when you've got a great ball club. Sports, when you're leaving it all on the field.